y'all. So, let me get a drink here because this is the third video I'm filming today. Okay. So, in the last video I put up about kitchen things, it was the things that, in my opinion, are necessary in a starter kitchen to be able to cook anything and everything your heart desires, as far as cookingware and utensils go. This is gonna be what are things that I, in my personal kitchen, would not be able to not have, that I have already accumulated. There are things like my deep fryer, my little air fryer thing, and my griddle that, yes, I love them and I use them a lot, but if I had to, I could live without them. They're not like needs for me. These things that I'm going to show you are things that I need, in my opinion. They're not necessities. You don't need them, but they make my life easier, and with 3 kids, I'm all about what makes my life easier. So let's take these glasses off again so there's no glare. So, what was I even saying? I got distracted by the glare. These are things that for me are necessities. They're not necessities for everybody, and you absolutely do not need these. You can manage without these things. In my opinion, that other video are things that you would be hard-pressed to make some things without those things that I showed in that other video. So let's get started. We'll start with the utensils. We'll start with this. A citrus juicer. Lemons, limes, oranges. Makes life easier. Like I said, somebody's outside my house. Anyways, like I said, I could squeeze lemons, limes, and oranges by hand. This just makes it easier. A pizza cutter. You could cut your pizza with those 3 knives I showed you earlier, but I use this for pizza, to cut pizza. I use this to, whoa, I almost used it to cut my face. I use it to cut, quesadillas and things like that. A potato masher. I don't use this for potatoes. I use this to make my refried beans. I would not be able to make my refried beans without a potato masher, and I could always just buy pre-made refried beans, but my husband's picky, so I can't live without this. A ground beef, I don't know what you call this, a thingy when you're cooking your ground beef to, you know, break up the chunks. One of these. I got this one at Dollar Tree for $1. Mommy! What, buddy?
I want some milk.
Give me just a minute, okay? I'm almost done.
Okay.
Can you be patient?
Oh, that's one.
Yep, can you be patient?
No.
Thank you. A potato peeler. You guys usually see me use my green one. It's in the sink dirty right now, and I was too lazy to wash it before filming this video, so I'm using my just plain black one that came in a set with some cooking utensils. A potato peeler. You can peel potatoes with a knife, but you waste less potatoes, and it's easier with a peeler. Also, this is good for carrots, apples, cucumbers, things that you peel. A meat tenderizer. So this side, the flat side, is usually used for just like pounding out your meat to be thinner. The spiky side is usually used for the tenderizing part. Okay. I mainly use this for the flattening out part for like my chicken breasts and stuff, because you know sometimes they're like way thick in one area and way thin in another. Alright, these are 2 knives that you can live without, but they do make life easier. A carving knife and a bread knife. Actually, I'm not really certain this is a bread knife. This might also be a carving knife, but this is what I use to cut my bread. So, carving knife, bread knife. This is something a lot of people don't think of, but because a lot of people make pre-made hamburgers, and sometimes I do too for convenience, but sometimes I like to make, most of the time I like to make my own, to be honest. Because I like the seasoning all in the burger, not just on the top of the burger, you know, so this is A hamburger press, I got it for $5 in the grilling section a few years ago when summer was over. It was on clearance. Almost done, buddy. As far as utensils go, a colander. I have two, this one and a bigger one. You absolutely do not need this. You can put a plate over your pot and strain things. You can just dump your ground beef on to a paper towel. Some people even put a paper towel at the end of their spatula or whatever and swirl it around in the pan and soak up the grease that way. But a colander makes life easier. A cheese grater. This is not only good for cheese, it's good for vegetables and things of that nature. Well, I forgot my zester, which is actually a cheese grater, but a handheld small cheese grater that I use for a zester. Anyways, do not put your cards in there. Okay, now we're going to move on to, I have 3 small kitchen appliances that I think everybody should have. Let's start with the smallest one, which is, let me turn around, my rice cooker. I cannot cook rice on the stovetop to save my life, but rice always comes out perfect in this. And this was just a cheap, I think this was like $15 at Walmart, maybe even $10 at Walmart. Next, we have the Crock Pot. This is my Pioneer Woman one by Hamilton Beach. I also have an Instant Pot brand one. It's not an Instant Pot, but it is Instant Pot brands Crock Pot. I use them for different things depending, it just depends. But I just got this one out to show you. This is a lifesaver if you need to cook dinner but you're going to be gone all day. If you just don't really want to put too much effort into cooking dinner. And there are just some things that come out better in a crock pot in my opinion. Like in my opinion, a roast should be done in the crock pot, not in the oven. It comes out too dry in the oven in my opinion, but to each their own. So everybody needs, well, a crock pot. You need a crock pot. That is probably, if you were to purchase anything out of this video, I would tell you to do the crock pot first. Move, buddy. I gotta do show them one more thing. And certainly last, but certainly not least, is my food processor. Now, if you guys watched my kitchen organization video, you saw that I had 2 different ones. Put that down. And I still have those 2. One is a teeny tiny one that I use to grind up like oatmeal for oatmeal baths when my kids are having like rashes or dry skin or things like that. I have a medium-sized one which is good for crunching up Oreos, vegetables, graham crackers, things like that. This one, this is my new baby. I got it not too long ago. It can do anything from making salsa and smoothies to making cookie dough. So it comes with, let me take it off. Put that down before you break it and I have to be mad. Put it back together. Do not touch it again. Do you hear me?
Mommy, please.
It comes with the chopper blade, which would be for like vegetables, smoothies, things like that. Chopping things. Comes with the plastic blade, which is for more like making doughs for like cookies and pies. And then I'm keeping this in the plastic because I don't want to cut myself. This is for grating cheeses or slicing vegetables. Put that down! Go, Delson, leave stuff alone. I won't say it again. Then you need to leave stuff alone. Yes, Mommy. Anyways, and it comes with that disc. That's for, like, slicing up vegetables really thin, grating cheese and things like that. So a food processor. And, what was I gonna say? Depending on what you're gonna use it for, depends on what size you need. My teeny tiny one, my husband's grandpa sent to us when we first got married. No, when we first got married. When we moved into this house, he sent it to us. It was his. He had it for a while, and he just sent it to us. My medium-sized one I got for Christmas, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago, before we moved into this house. And it was just like a cheap, I think like $10 one at Walmart, and it still works great. Delson Riker. I can see you. Get in here and shut that door right now.
I can't shut that door. I'm not this door, Mom.
Shut the door.
I can't.
1. Thank you. And that one was good, and it worked good because I was just using it for, like I said, like crushing up Oreos for Oreo balls. I never really used it that often. And then I would have to say,
Let's go here.
around Thanksgiving of last year, I made some pies to take to my husband's family Thanksgiving. No, it wasn't Thanksgiving. I don't remember what we went out there for dinner for, but everybody wanted a different kind of pie, and I was only going to make 2, and I asked them what kinds, and they wouldn't tell me what kind, so I ended up making 3. I ended up making an apple. I don't remember. I remember making an apple. And I don't remember what other kind of pie I made. But I went to make the pie crust on that one, and most pie crust recipes you find, most pie crust recipes you find are going to call for to be able to make 2 pie crusts, for the bottom and the top crust. And it just wasn't big enough to handle doing the 2 pie crusts at once, so I had to cut the recipe in half and do it one at a time. And so when I saw this, and my KitchenAid finally went out, and I didn't want to replace my KitchenAid because I did not use it nearly enough. So when I saw this big Ninja one was on clearance, I thought, well, that'll be good, because when I'm just doing like one thing of cookies here and there, I'll just use my hand mixer. But if I need to make like 3 or 4 different types of cookies, and one day having something other than the hand mixer to mix it with is nice. And I thought, instead of buying a bigger food processor that I can just make dough in and chop things in, and then separately buying a stand mixer, I figured this was a good combination of both, and I wanted to give it a try, and it works great. That was long-winded for this. I'm sorry, but I am quickly running out of energy. It is 1:03, and I have edited 2 videos, posted 2 videos, and this will make the 3rd video I filmed today. So I'm gonna call it here. But these are, after you get all those things in the other video, like the utensils, the colander, the cheese grater, the hamburger press, those are all things you could buy, one here, one there, not really having to save much for it. But things like the crock pot, you could probably do that with the rice cooker too. Like I said, they're like $10 or $15 at Walmart. But things like the crock pot and this big food processor are things you might have to either save for or ask your family as a group Christmas gift to get you, or things like that. Other things I also recommend, but you can live without, are a deep fryer, an air fryer and toaster oven, a microwave, a waffle iron, as far as appliances go. As far as utensils, I do recommend having all sorts of different types of wooden utensils. And there are a few different types of knives that would make things easier, like a fillet knife. If you do fish, we don't do fish. Well, I don't do fish. I buy it ready to cook. All I gotta do is season it for my husband, that's it. Trying to think if there's anything else that I would recommend for you to have. Oh, a sifter. If you do a lot of baking, a sifter is nice to have. I forgot to get that in my cabinet. Especially if you're doing things where you have to, you know, sprinkle powdered sugar on the top of them. A sifter works great for that. I think that's it. I'm sure in a few months I'll think of some other stuff and do another video like this, but I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, y'all. I can't stop yawning. That's going to be it from me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.